Welcome. My name is Brandon. Please join me on this tour of Normandale Village in Bloomington, Minnesota. You might be thinking, hey, Bloomington, isn't that... Yes, it is the home of Mall of America and the Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport. Bloomington is a very wide city around 11 to 12 miles from west to east, with a population of nearly 85,000 residents. Bloomington is one of the outer ring suburbs of the Twin Cities, whose population blew up in the 1960s and 70s. Bloomington had a population of only 9,000 residents in the 1950s, 50,000 in the 1960s, and has settled around 80,000 since the 1970s. I was glad to discover Normandale Village. It is an enclosed strip mall that is 90% intact. While the restaurant and Anytime Fitness have expanded into the hallway, I don't see this mall sharing the same fate as Maplewood Plaza 3000 or Crystal Gallery. Please watch my video on those two malls to see enclosed malls that have been converted into ordinary strip malls. I do not know how Plaza 3000 looked in the late 2000s, but Crystal Gallery was looking dated with several empty tenants. Normandale Village was constructed in 1973 and has had minor updates to make it clean and inviting. There was a lot of foot traffic around 5 p.m. on a Friday. I loved visiting this mall. It is laid out like Plaza 3000 and gave me a warm feeling of nostalgia. Near the beginning of the video, we passed a Haskell's. There are 10 Haskell's around the Twin Cities. They are a chain of high-end wine shops. They are spread out just far enough to make it seem like they are everywhere, stretching from Excelsior at the west to Stillwater at the east. Excelsior and Stillwater do not have large malls, but I recommend a visit as they are wonderful little towns with plenty of sights for tourists. Why is Normandale Village doing so well, while other malls have become strip malls? Normandale Village is in a great location at the intersection of two main roads. It is also a mile away from Normandale Community College. The mall is anchored by an upscale grocery store called Lunds & Byerly's. If you have one of these grocery stores in your local Minnesota strip mall, your neighborhood is doing pretty well. Normandale Village is also surrounded by several parks and housing developments, preventing someone from opening competition across the street. Circling back to the grocery store, Lunds & Byerly's started as two competing stores in Minnesota. The first Lunds opened in 1939 in Minneapolis. They only had stores in the Twin Cities and surrounding suburbs. Byerly's opened in 1968 in the Minneapolis suburb of Golden Valley. They did build one store outside of the Twin Cities in St. Cloud, which is 65 miles northwest of Minneapolis. Lunds purchased Byerly's in 1997, but they continued separate branding until 2015. No Lunds ever closed, but two Byerly's did, in Bloomington and St. Paul. The St. Paul location, that was my Byerly's growing up. Although my parents rarely shopped there for groceries, as it was considered too expensive. But we did often visit for ice cream. I loved choosing my flavor and then asking for toppings, usually M&Ms or gummy bears. They were so hard to eat because they were cold, but I loved them. In my teenage years, a Caribou Coffee kiosk opened in the store, and my attention went there. A few years ago, that Byerly's closed. It is now an Asian supermarket called Haugen. They have a banh mi station, which, hey, wait a minute, not all change is bad. I have often shopped at the original Byerly's in Golden Valley. As of 2008, it hadn't been remodeled and had a very retro look. Being high-end, though, it was immaculate. Imagine your favorite dead mall with old architecture, but bustling with life. It was remodeled around 2011 and then rebranded again in 2015 with the new name. Even though it is further away from my house than other grocery stores, I shop more at Lunds & Byerly's, as there is usually no line, and they bag your groceries. You can't take the carts out of the building, so if you buy more than you can carry, someone will bring your groceries to your car. It's pretty nice. Look at this old brick. I felt like a kid again at Plaza 3000 in the 1980s. I should mention, and this is a little embarrassing, but I didn't know this mall had an enclosed hallway until 2021. I had been to the restaurant at the end of the mall many times in the early 2010s when it was Famous Dave's. I had also made several trips to the grocery store at the other end as late as 2018. I never noticed its hallway until I started researching malls. Whoops. At least I have a chance to rectify my mistake and share this cute little mall with all of you. Ugh, this restroom. It's the only part of the mall I found disappointing. But I guess there is not a strong need to remodel the restrooms when people can use the grocery store restrooms located right by the hallway. And that's about it. As you have probably gathered from the footage, Normandale Village is doing very well with only a few vacancies. Wow, I gotta say, it was really nice to find a healthy enclosed strip mall that I could share. Thank you for joining me on this tour of Normandale Village. I hope you have a great day. Take care.